Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are doing pretty well. I hope you guys enjoyed a nice long weekend and were able to get out there and do some detailing for your vehicle. Maybe play around with some new products, who knows. I actually had a whole week off. I actually took advantage of the Labor Day week with the holiday being on Monday, and I took the rest of the week off for on PTO. So kind of just rest the mind a bit here because I was actually starting to get to the point where I was like, man, I can't go. When I was younger, I could go much longer, but once you get a little older, it's like you kind of need a break in there. So I took advantage of that. I was a bit slow at work. I was like perfect timing, and so that's what I ended up doing. Kind of just refresh the mind as I get ready for the next week here. Now, with that said, I was going through my videos. I was kind of just searching some things, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I ever made a video on CarPro Perl. And sure enough, I went back and I looked through my video archives, and sure enough, I don't have a video on CarPro Perl, which is this guy here. So CarPro Perl, the acronym PERL stands for plastic, engine, rubber, and leather. So that's what it stands for. This comes as a concentrate, and you can use it for any of those surfaces. You can dilute this down to whatever you want to use it for. We'll go over the directions here, some of the things that this thing offers, and then we'll kind of go over the way I like to use it, and then we'll go and apply it to the tire here. So right on the bottle it states it's for plastic, engine, rubber, and leather, hence Pearl. High UV protection, slows fading and yellowing, restores and creates satin shine finish, non-greasy, solvent-free, no alcohol, high durability up to 3 months. Now, keep in mind that high durability, you're not going to get that real world, especially on a daily driver. When you're using this, you're not going to get 3 months of protection. You're going to get a couple weeks at best. One rainstorm, this thing's gone. It's not very durable as a tire because it's technically a water-based. And it even tells you right here, water-based silicon dioxide coat. Tells you right here. So water is going to remove it and break it down at some point. Now that 3 months durability on the interior, yes, it can last that long easily because you're not seeing wear and tear on the inside like the outside. Mother Nature is pretty brutal for your exterior of your vehicle, especially living in harsh weather conditions during the winter. You guys know that from experience. So that 3 months again for the interior easily. For tires, no, unless your car's garage kept. Like maybe if I drive my Camaro once or twice, maybe 3 times a month, and I wash it once a month. Okay, in that instance, yeah, that tire, or I said Pearl, can last up to 3 months on there easily, no problem. So let's go over the directions on how to use this product and the dilutions for this, because it tells you right here on the bottle. It says clean the surface from dirt, oil, and dust. So if you're going to use this as a tire dressing, clean the tires as you normally would. If you're going to use it on the interior, again, just use your interior cleaner and then use this as a follow-up here. Same thing with engine bays, same thing with your leather. Clean it with the cleaner that you have on hand. Okay, dilute Pearl with water. For external plastics, it's 1 to 3, which is 1 part Pearl, 3 parts water. Engine, it's from 1 to 1 up to 1 to 3. For tires or rubber, it's undiluted to 1 to 1, and then for interiors, they state 1 to 5. So those are all the dilutions, pretty straightforward, very easy to do. Now I have actually used this pretty much on every single surface at all these dilution ratios. For interior at 1 to 5, it leaves a nice finish. So if you have a car that has newer like plastic, you're not going to notice the big transition because the interior is fresh and it looks good. But as your vehicle kind of ages and maybe it stays outside and it's parked outside and the sun just kind of beats up on the interior plastics a bit, this can actually enhance the finish and it will darken the finish as well. I like it on interior plastics and primarily just interior plastics. On leather, I'm not a big fan of it on leather. And here's the reason why, and this is going from way back. Now it does look great. So if you have darker leather, and I'm not talking about uncoated leather, we're talking about coated leather, which is what's in most modern day vehicles, or vinyl. If you have a darker interior, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna darken that leather. But what I noticed with this, maybe this is just normal for everything, I noticed that this seemed to attract dirt more than just using like a regular leather, you know, something like Color Lock, leather protector, or what's the other one, leather shield. Like I felt like this seemed to attract dirt. Again, could have been placebo, but that's just me, because when I clean the seat, it seemed to pull more dirt with when I use Pearl than when I actually just use the actual leather, dedicated leather product on there. Just let you know that, again, I'm not a big fan of it for leather seats. Could you use it? Yeah, easily on there. Everywhere else, I think it works very well, and no weird glare coming off the front dashboard or anything like that. So again, other than that, it's pretty good. External plastics, I tend to use it straight up, undiluted, to get the maximum durability of it, because once water hits this, it's to the point where it's not going to last very long. So for exterior plastic trim, I like using it undiluted, and then if I need to maintain it, I'll just hit it with 1-to-1. When it comes to tires, so here's the way I like to use it, strictly for tires here. I like using this product undiluted first as my primary base level layer. I'll put it on the tire and let it do its thing for about a week. And then the next wash, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use dilution of 1-to-1, which is I have in the smaller bottle. So I always have two. I have one undiluted for my base layer, and then I have it at 1-to-1. And so what I'll end up doing is I'll just top it after every wash with 1-to-1 going forward, and that kind of just extends the life of the base layer, and it just keeps your finish looking good, because again, CarPro Perl is not going to be the longest lasting tire dressing because it is water based. Now even 1-to-1, if you're using 1-to-1, it's not going to last that long either. This will last a bit longer than 1-to-1. That's the way I like to use it, and I just want to share that with all of you guys on the way I like to use CarPro Perl. So let's go ahead and go apply this to the tire. As far as the applicators, there's plenty of different style applicators here. Just grab your favorite tire dressing applicator. Like I have like this little rubber foam one, which I've been using with CarPro Perl. You can see it gets dirty, which is normal. Your tires are gonna kind of stain it. You know, you can just flip it to the other side and use it. I was gonna use one of these because I do like these Tough Shine ones, but I also have this unused auto fiber applicator. I was like, hey, let's go ahead and give this a shot, see how it works on there with this type of product, because I've actually never used it with a lotion-based product. I've used it with I've used the other one with Tire Plus on there. So let's go ahead and take all this over there. We're going to apply it to the tire, and we're going to see how this looks. And I didn't bring a towel, so I'm not going to bother getting one here. So actually, let me disconnect the camera because I had it charging. And actually, you know what? I'll grab a towel just in case. Because what I tend to like doing is I let Pearl sit for a longer period of time. And what I mean by that is I will let it sit for 15, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, and then I'll come back and then wipe it down. Or sometimes I'll let it sit overnight and just let the rubber absorb it, and then wipe it off in the morning, any excess, so that the tire absorbs product. So I'll bring a towel just in case I do get some on the face of the wheel. And I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to take a look at the tire here. So I'm going to get you guys dialed in here. So I know I'm in the shade, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of get this dialed in. Let's see. Let me see who's texting me here. Okay, nobody. It's nothing too important here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, now with this auto fiber applicator here, this has the liner in here, so a lot of the product's going to be staying on the material up here rather than being absorbed into the foam inner block. So I'm just going to go ahead and shake this real quick. Give it a good shake. And I'm just going to go ahead and load this with some product on here. This is my first time using this applicator, so I'm going to put a little bit more just to kind of get it on there. I'm going to see if I can butterfly this. It's kind of... Okay, so I think I'm probably going to need a little bit more, but let's go ahead and give this a shot. So we're going to go ahead and just work this in. So I like to apply it a little bit further out into the grooves there. Let's see if I can get that. Okay, so I think you guys can actually see that. Again, it's kind of hard to see this in the shade, but it should give you a good idea of how it looks. You can see it looks pretty dark on here, so I'm going to bring it a little closer here so you can actually see it. So this is where I applied it. You can see the line right there. This is an untreated tire on this side, treated this way, just to kind of give you an idea. So when you first apply this, like this, it may look a little glossy on there, especially if you're in the sun. So if I pull this in the sun, it may look a little glossy, and that's perfectly normal because I'm using it undiluted, so I'm getting the full punch of this on here. But I'll just let this, like I would apply this and let it set up for probably just like an hour or so. Again, if I'm in a rush to go anything, 15, 20 minutes, you know, maybe I'll apply it to this tire, you know, we'll go on around the entire car, and then I'll come back where I started and lightly wipe off any excess on here. But I'm gonna, because I'm not going anywhere with this, I'm just gonna let this set up overnight, and then when I come back in the morning, I'll just lightly wipe this off with the microfiber towel, and just kind of knock it down, and it will knock down the shine a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit more product on there. Actually, I probably had enough with what I had in there. These listen a little harder to kind of butterfly in there, but yeah, just kind of like that. Again, I'm just going to work it into the edges here. And one thing that's nice about these auto fiber applicators is they get into the grooves really well for the outer tread here. Because sometimes when you use like a foam block or something on here, you'll get a little bit of excess tire dressing in here. And this does a better job to kind of not have that. And it just applies it more evenly. Like that. So yeah, just go ahead and apply it on there. I'm just going to kind of go over it one more time and make sure it's good. So I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's it for CarPro Perl. It's nothing groundbreaking. So it's been around for a very long time, and it's one of my favorite products. And if I wanted to, I could actually you know, apply it to this piece of trim right here, undiluted, like so. So we'll go ahead and just apply this here, and I'll show you what this looks like, because I can actually see a difference from it. So I can actually see, I think you can actually see this here. It's darker where I applied it, and rather than here. So I can just apply it there, and then again, I would just take a towel like this Kirkland one and knock it down a bit if I wanted to, but we'll let it set up and then I'll wipe it down. So that's what it looks like. Actually, let me wipe it down just to see what it looks like. Yeah, so it still looks good. I just kind of level it so I don't have any excess. So I would just kind of just do that with it. I just want to give a quick look at what it looks like on trim, since I just had a piece right there. And then again, the tire looks really good, freshly dressed. Except right now it looks a little glossy, but it will tend to matte out as it sits for quite some time. And again, by the time I come in the morning, it'll look a little bit more matte, and then I'll just knock it down with a microfiber towel. Just do an initial knockdown. That way you kind of avoid any sling, although this is not going to sling because the applicator did a real good job. So this is actually a real nice applicator. I was hoping that these were on Amazon, so I could just link these rather than linking the knockoffs. So for now, I just link the knockoffs until Autofiber puts their applicators on there, because the Tough Shine ones are not on there. So flip the camera over one more time. So that's it for for this one, guys. You gotta have the cat sensor on over there. But yeah, CarPro Perl, again, real nice product from CarPro. One of my favorites, if not my favorite tire dressing here. For the simple fact that it is pretty cost effective. I forget the price off the top of my head, but again, I can dilute it down for various aspects of the vehicle. And again, for tire dressing, it just does a real good job. Yeah, it's not the most durable. You know, a couple weeks, first wash, you're gonna have to touch it up with either more undiluted or just, like I would recommend, 1-to-1 dilution. Refresh the tire, give it a nice look. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, if you want to use it on the inside, by all means go for it. You know, just dilute it 1-to-5, apply it to the surface, and then come back and knock it down after you've, like what I would do for the interior, apply it to the entire interior, let the plastics absorb some of the product, and then come back and knock it down, just so you can rehydrate the plastic, and then knock it down. I'll knock down any, you know, quote, shine that's on the surface, if any, with it. And then if you're going to use it on exterior, you just play around with the different looks. I would probably just go undiluted on the exterior trim, and then just maintain 1-to-1 going forward. But that's it for CarPro Perl, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Again, it's one of my favorite products. I tend to use this more often than anything else in terms of a tire dressing. There's a lot of good ones out there, of course, but this is one of my go-tos. Again, it just works so well for me. So again, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next one. Post your comments down below. I'm really interested to hear if you guys enjoy CarPro Perl. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. And yeah, don't forget to post down below.